Elena. I got your email and I'm going to read it here and then I'm going to talk through what I want you to do, and I will get an email off following up with your email that you sent. So I'm going to go ahead and read. And thanks for checking in, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to help you through some of this. I know these two have been a little bit challenging at times through their life and through the changes that you've made in your life, and it's training is never ending, and thanks for sticking with it, and thanks for always caring enough to help these two. So here's your email. Bowie has been marking in the house and doesn't ask to go outside anymore. He just goes. He does have a low back pain that the vet suggested could make him have accidents, but I can't let him wander the house with me like he used to, and he resents being confined. Sorry about that. Tate fence fights with a neighbor's dog. He is totally content in the house, but has also started sneaking upstairs and marking where Bowie has marked. If I allow Tate to be out in the mudroom where we kennel them, Bowie whines. If I kennel Tate with Bowie, Tate whines. I'd love your help. Thank you. The things that come to my mind is we've got some possible medical issues that's causing some of this, where I'm sure the pain sets in and then the sensation happens that maybe he has to go to the bathroom, and the pain associated with going to the bathroom, associated with going outside, could potentially be the problem. So what I would suggest doing is going and getting a belly band. And I know that we've talked about some of this in the past, but letting him be around the house with a belly band on. But first, what I want you to do is put their leashes back on and start really giving them very specific places for them to be in the house, whether it's their bed or a rug or a place to be, and use this by back tying or having the leash attached to you. I know it's a little bit more difficult with two dogs, but they are smaller, and so I think it will benefit if they're both back tied in different in the rooms with you in different places. And it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to unhook their leashes when you change rooms, but if you have a situation where you can kind of keep things central, where they're hanging out with you but they're back tied and they're a little bit more confined, and then move them when necessary if you're going to be out of the room for any length of time. If you're going to get laundry and coming back, they can stay in the same room that you left them in. If you're going to go get a drink or go do something that's short-lived, then they can stay in the same room. It's just if you're going to change rooms and be in another room for any length of time, they need to be moved. Also, if the kids are in a room and they're playing or watching TV or doing their thing, the dogs can be back tied in the same room with them. But I would definitely put a belly band on Bowie so that he doesn't, because he'll just mark where he's at as well. And so if they're agitated and they can't settle in their places, then that's when they're sent outside to go to the bathroom. And so you're almost kind of re-triggering and resetting them that they have to tell you because they're back tied. And so having a place in each of the rooms is very specific to where they're going to go and where you expect them to be. And eventually you won't have to back tie, they'll put the leash on and put them in their place and tell them to be there. And then they'll be there and stay there. And the instant they get off their bed, then they immediately get sent outside. So you have some cues as well that, you come off your bed, you go outside. And when it's crate time, make sure that the crate time is routine. Make sure you set up some type of consistency with that. And it's okay that one has to be in a crate at times and the other one does not. Make sure that everything is cleaned up. And also, anytime that you're in the same room where Bowie has marked and Tate's in the same room, you can kind of get disgusted in those areas, not at Tate, but at the area. Oh, don't like that when Bowie does that and left that mark. And so if you show emotion to that, then it will be easier for Tate to go, oh gosh, stay away from that place, and not marking over top of it. So it's okay for Bowie to be in his crate at times and Tate to be out in the house with you sometimes as well. That will help kind of balance things out with all of them. Dogs don't get jealous like that where, oh, why am I in my crate and you're out there? And if you have to switch them out where one's, in their crate, one's out, the other one's in their crate, the other one's out, as far as managing the two of them, having them around the house a little bit more, but attached to you on the leashes or back tied onto something is going to be really important. Through this, again, getting a belly band is going to be important for Bowie because medically we need to respect that and know that there are things that's going to trigger it. But if he got the belly band on and he gets antsy, we can automatically get him sent outside. The fence fighting with the neighbors' dogs is a lot of times what I like to do is, one, when I send him outside, put a thin rope on so that when he's out there, I can walk to the rope instead of him. And you go get the rope and you redirect him. You're like, that behavior gets you to your crate. And so you go out, get the leash. You don't talk to him. You don't say anything. You go grab the leash and you walk him inside and put him in his crate. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of attention, and it has to happen every time that he does it. And that's the hard piece, is staying super consistent. So if you can't be consistent with it, then you have to realize that it's going to happen. And so consistency of going out, putting him in his crate with disgust, with, you're not going to say, you're not going to call him and say, Tate, and call him to you and then put him in his crate. You need to walk out, grab the end of the leash, put him away, and then bring him back out. The other thing that I like to do is use a shaker can. That also helps with consistency. And so shaker can is an aluminum can with pennies on it. In it, I just duct tape the top shut. And the instant that it starts, I go out and chuck the can at the fence and just give it's enough. And then you pick up the can and come back inside. It will also help with the dogs on the other side of the fence that they're being startled as well. But you're not getting aggressive with Tate. You're not getting angry at him. You're just disgusted about the whole environment, the whole picture that's being created. And then you pick up the can and you go back inside. And so when you can stay consistent with the crate, if you can't stay consistent with the crate, go to the shaker can, and that will work as well. But you have to go out kind of in a fierce, loud, that's enough, or quiet, and chuck that can, and then go get it and come back inside and see what happens. You should start seeing things subside. And if you hear the other dogs barking, running up and down the fence to encourage Tate to do that, I would do the same thing. So it just reinforces to Tate that we just don't mess with that fence, and that every time it just creates chaos in you and it creates disgust. And so it will stop if you can stay consistent. If you can't stay consistent, it's not going to stop. The behaviors that's happening, if you can stay consistent with it, if you can teach them and give them a different direction to go in, they're both old enough to be able to maintain staying on beds when you're inside and relaxing, that it should help them out and know what to do. So if they do get up from their beds, they're being antsy about being back tied, that they need to be sent outside. And then when you don't have the time and there's a lot going on, don't be afraid to let Tate be in the house and Bowie be in his crate, and shift things around so that you can be consistent. But create it so that you can be consistent with it, and create a routine. Create the expectations of what they're supposed to do in each of the rooms, so they're not wandering around, they're not zipping and escaping anywhere. And if you need to, put up little signs around the house, so everybody's aware of where the dogs need to be. And make a game out of it too, is, put one dog on one bed and one on the other. What's next? Where do you go? Where's the dog? Somebody moves the dog, just make sure that there's a place for them to be in every room that they hang out in, that you hang out in, that's where they need to be consistently. Let me know if you have any other questions, and let me know how the journey is going. I'd love to get your feedback and any